slept and I dreamed that life is all joy. I woke and I saw that life is all service. I served and I saw that service is joy. So that quote is by Khalil Gibran. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He was born in the 1800s.
Yeah.
But I love that quote because it's going to kind of tie into what we're going to talk about today and also reminded me of that quote that I've mentioned that you shared. Well, it's not a quote, it's something you said in class one time where if you're not finding joy in service, maybe you need to serve some more. But so we're going to talk about three images today that are three different ways that God can use us to bless others. And I think it's going to be a beautiful conversation. But before we get into that, this is Looking Up. This is a podcast for Christian women. We've been doing this for about 3 years and 3 months now. And I'm Kathy Pollard, and your other host is Carla Moore. And we thank you for joining us. Grab your favorite drink and just enjoy this chat with us. We keep it very casual and unscripted and no editing. So,
That's the best part.
yes. And we usually start out by just, if you're new here, we just kind of catch up with each other and what's new. And then we move into our conversation. And some people love the chatting and some people skip the chatting, and that's fine too. So, Carla, how are you?
I'm good. It's going to be a one-sided conversation because
You're going to throw yourself under the bus.
yes, I'm going to throw myself under the bus because I'm sitting here trying to find the email that I sent myself with a few little notes. So you had given me a topic and then you said, no, let's do a different topic, but I forgot about that. So I'm just sitting here going, what are we going to talk about? Well, you're going to talk and I'm just going to comment.
Yeah, we just had
I'll try to have some really profound add-ons to whatever you say.
Well, if anybody can pull that off, it's you. Yeah, we just
Yeah.
had a discovery like 2 seconds before you hit record.
Whoops.
You said you were ready to talk about this particular topic, and I was like, we're not doing that one. And the look on your face, Carla.
Oh yeah. Unedited. Unedited. It'll be good though.
But aside from that, what have you been up to?
We went to SeaWorld with Micah and Courtney and the
I
girls
saw
on
that.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I haven't been there in years, years.
Mhm.
But it took me back to my boys' childhood because we would do that sometimes with them. And um it was just fun to see it through their eyes. And I had forgotten how impressive that orca show. Usually they call it Shamu, the Shamu show, but Shamu's not there anymore. It's another whale. But man, 4,000 pounds
Mm,
up out of that water. It did a flip. I was just spellbound by that, which, it was just
yeah.
incredible. But we did that on Thursday a week ago. And then on Saturday, we spent the whole day outside, which was wonderful and lovely and everything just so good to be outside and did some tree trimming. And it was windy, so we couldn't do any burning. But anyway, that's what we've been doing, just working outside and being with family and not being in Israel. So
Yeah. Yeah.
bonus
Well,
time.
aside from the
Bonus.
Israel part, it sounds pretty perfect.
Yeah, it's been good. What about you? What you been doing?
Good. We've also spent a lot of time with family. We had birthday celebrations. Mara turned 2, and we celebrated her birthday, and had the Carl and Emily's kids last night, and Jude's going to come hang out with us for a little while tomorrow. And I just got back from my sister's house, and we haven't hung out together in a while. And well, the day of this recording is St. Patrick's Day, and she loves a good theme, so.
Wear something green, I hope.
Everything was green. When I walked in, she had an St. Patrick's Day playlist going, which took me a second to figure out. When I first walked in, I was like, that's different. That does not sound like her. Um, but let me just I brought show and tell. So because she ordered 2 of everything. So we ate on these things and then she sent them home with me. But these are like it's green popcorn with Lucky
Oh,
Charms
fun.
to go with the Irish.
Big Papa Charms.
Yes. And then this is Werther's Originals, but it's caramel apples. So they're in these little green wrappers. Um, she had kiwi and green grapes, and she made these dipped strawberries. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
She decorated them with icing and green drizzle and sparkle. And
He needs to be a
um,
party planner.
She is. She pretty much is. She just doesn't get paid for it.
Well, she should get paid for it.
We played cards, and she, of course, ordered a green deck of cards. Um, and then we did little miniature paintings.
Oh, that's fun.
And the pictures she chose were Irish. So, like, one was a four-leaf clover, and then some were these famous cliffs in Ireland. So, this is supposed to be one of them. And it's supposed to be, it does, I shouldn't show you the screenshot of the picture because it doesn't look anything like it, but it's supposed to be those famous cliffs of Moher, however you say that word.
Mhm.
Did you ever see that movie, Leap Year with Amy
Yeah.
Adams?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The cliffs that
Long
are
time ago.
in, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's supposed to be, let me see if I can turn it sideways. Can you see that picture?
Yeah. Is it a real picture? It's not a painting?
It's a photograph, yeah. So that's what my little painting, my little picture is supposed
I
to
think
be.
you did good. You did
And
real
it's got a
good.
little magnet on the back, so you can put it on our refrigerator. So we had a fun time, and she's,
I want to go
she's,
to a party at Christy's house.
well, she's my sister, not yours. So there.
She technically is my sister,
Okay, but she's my
Christian.
double sister, okay?
Yeah, she's your blood
Mine,
sister.
mine.
Okay, okay. I'm
Uh,
laughing because something on the Zoom settings. We're recording this in Zoom as
is it
usual.
still
And
doing it?
yes, it's like
Ah,
following your face around. So
I don't know why it's doing that. We
you
did not
can't,
ask for that,
yeah. And mine's not doing it, just yours. So
but
you're
I
just,
didn't touch any settings and I've checked everything. Yeah, I explained to you that as soon as you sent me the link, I opened it up, and normally it's just my face, but this was my face, and then it automatically zoomed in and cropped my
mhm.
face. And I was like, huh, what are you doing? What?
Because it knows better than we do.
Well, that doesn't take a lot, but still kind of freaky if you ask me.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
we did not invite this. So
Yeah.
yeah. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, I was gonna brag on my daughters-in-law. Um, Janelle is starting this thing at Cumberland Trace where she's creating these goodie bags. She's going to have the young people help her put together goodie bags that if you're going to visit somebody in the hospital or a shut in, you can just grab one of these bags and take it with you. And it's got sweet little things in it that are also, like thoughtful, but also practical. And as a nurse, she knows what people would
Yeah.
welcome and what they can have in the hospital. Um,
Mhm.
and then Emily just started this thing, they started a newsletter for their congregation called Sand and Sage. And the newsletter is being put together by TNT. That's their young girls, and it stands for Tabitha's in Training.
Okay.
And so they're making it look like a vintage newsprint newsletter. And that what she's having them do is go interview a member of the congregation,
Mm.
and the whole group works together. So the interviewing, the writing, the editing, the printing, the distributing, like all the girls are coming together and working on it. And she sent us a picture of the first issue, and it looks amazing. And they chose Carl to interview, and the girl that interviewed him is 7 years old. Isn't
Oh, I bet that's awesome. I
that
need you to
sweet?
send me that.
Yeah, I love the idea of, sending these young girls into the congregation and getting to talk to people and interview them. And
That is a great idea.
yeah, yeah. So
I'd love to see a 7-year-old interviewing Carl.
yeah.
She's this big and he's towering over her, no doubt.
And the other personal thing I'll share is, so Jude was sitting by me with his parents on Sunday night, and Janelle was during the invitation song. Janelle, picked him up, and so he was on her hip, looking over her shoulder. For those who don't know, he's 2, and so anyway, I just happened to glance over in time to catch him sticking his tongue out at the people behind us. He was going, And so I stepped over and I put my hand up and I shook my head. I was like, no.
Hmm.
Well, you would not believe all the people that came up and said something to me after
To leave
church.
him
I was
alone and
like,
don't tell that baby
first of
no.
all, I never get on to him, especially when his parents are around.
Mhm.
I just don't. The one time afterwards, I'm the one that gets in trouble. So many people came up and said, Jeremy came up and said, he was just playing, don't you? And Sally Ware came up and said it wasn't his fault. Somebody else started it.
Oh, the truth comes
And then
out.
Holly Steves came up and said, I was just going to let you know that, and I was like, good grief.
Yeah. Yeah, don't correct the cute 2-year-old.
Exactly. It was so funny. And then we started singing To Canaan's Land as the last song. And you know that video I sent you of him, like, I sent it to
Yes.
you and my
He's
sister
got
of him on this
moves and
little,
grooves.
yeah, bebop dance down the sidewalk. So we start singing To Canaan's Land, and like he pauses for a second and then starts doing that little pop thing.
He is so cute.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Got some cute grandkids. All I'm going to mention, the last thing is that Grow and Glorify, the magazine that went
Yes.
live today. So
Oh, congratulations. And I subscribed. So what does
it's
that mean? I can just
beautiful.
go,
You just click on it'll be in your email.
oh, I got an email. Okay, I haven't
Yeah.
checked.
So click on the link and it'll ask you to sign in and then it makes it's like, reading if you enter it full screen, then
Mm-hmm.
you can see it as like looking like a magazine and it makes a cute little swish noise when you change the
On the
page.
page. How
And yeah,
fun.
it's beautiful. It is I'm astounded at how beautiful it is. And I think, that's secondary, but the content is really, really good too. There's some really deep stuff. Christy Huntsman did a deep study, deep dive into John with questions and things to do each day. So it's a daily study that you can do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And there's just some really, it's not fluffy. There's some fun stuff. There's some recipes and stuff like that, but it's great content and it's just really, it looks well done. So I'm excited for everybody to see it.
Yay. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see it. I'm glad I subscribed. And, you mentioned the aesthetics. It may not be important, but it definitely enhances the experience. And if you've
It's
got that
important.
talent, people who have that talent, that's what a great use for it. So,
Yeah, it's
and
beautiful.
anything Christy Huntsman puts her hands to is going to be deep,
It
deep
really,
and
yeah, that was good.
understandable. She really, that's what I love about her skill set is she knows how to go deep into the Bible, but present it in such a way that is just
Yeah,
easy to understand and practical. And
yep, she
yeah,
did. So I'm excited
awesome.
about it.
Well, and so if somebody listening in hasn't subscribed but would like to, tell them where they need to go. And I mean, we'll share the link in the Facebook group too, but
I
I just
just did about
mentioned
an
that.
hour ago. I shared a link to the magazine, and if you click on that link, it will take you to the Excel Stillmore website where you can follow that, and it'll take you to a place to subscribe. So it's already
Okay.
in there, but we'll share it again next week.
Okay. Excel still more. Great. All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
I'm
We're
ready to
hopping
hear what you
today.
have to
So
say.
we are going to, no, you're going to you'll probably bring like extra to the table just because you haven't planned for it. And
We'll see.
it's already up there.
I don't
All
think
right.
so.
So the name of today's conversation is Be a Lamp, a Lifeboat, or a Ladder. And I saw this graphic on Pinterest the other day. I don't know if you've seen it, but I just loved it. It was these sweet little images, like a little oil lamp, little lifeboat, little wooden ladder, and it said that very phrase, be a lamp, a lifeboat, or a ladder. And I thought how scriptural those really are. We see so much in the Bible about different ways that we can help others and be there for others. And so I thought we would just kind of briefly look at these three little images today and how God can use us in those ways to bless others and to serve others. And when I was looking through these, it dawned on me how simple it is. It's not that you have to have a special skill set or tons of time or even resources. Really, all of these is just a matter of awareness and thoughtfulness. So as we go through these things, just think about that. It's just a matter of paying attention to the people around you and caring. So the first one is a lamp. I see you were over there like looking things up real quick.
I had emailed myself something about it, so I'm looking it up in my email.
The first one is a lamp, which of course Psalm 119, 105 talks about the word being a lamp. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. So how can we do that for other people? And it was so easy to find the ways that we can help light the way for others. And first of all, you have to understand that when I think about being a lamp for somebody, that means that they're experiencing darkness. They're in a moment of darkness and they need that light. But the Bible even takes it a step further, really. So here's how God can use us to be a lamp to light the way for others. The first way that I found was by our good deeds course, Matthew 5:16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So the good deeds, the good works that we're involved in, we don't do it for show. Jesus warns about that in the Sermon on the Mount. We don't do it for that reason, but people are watching and how we serve and what we do with our time. And when they see us using the talents and the time that God has given us, then it glorifies Him and it lights the way for them. And then the second one I found was by our moral conduct. And that one was in Ephesians 5. And he does this contrast between, you were children of darkness, but now you're children of light. And he talks about walking in love. And then he uses the phrase, live as children of light. And when you look at that contrast, the darkness, he uses words like greed, any kind of sexual immorality. He uses all kinds of speech words that are negative, obscenities and coarse jesting, and those kinds of phrases. But the light, the living as children of light, was things like being thankful. He contrasts those other things with thanksgiving, which I don't know about you, but that's not necessarily what comes to my mind when I'm thinking of the opposite of sexual immorality or coarse talk. Thanksgiving is not the first thing that comes to mind, but that's what he contrasts it with. Living a thankful life, having goodness and righteousness and truth. So those are the things that make us walk as children of light. So again, those are things that, we practice goodness and righteousness and truth often with other people. So that's how we're a lamp. That's another way that we're a lamp. And then, do you want to insert anything before I keep going?
Well, I've always thought about light, how even the tiniest little match overpowers darkness. If there was a room full, you go into a great big warehouse that's completely dark. If you light a match, then if there was people in there, every eye would be drawn to that light.
Mm-hmm.
And it dispels darkness and it gets rid of dark. So, I mean, it's light is just more powerful than darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me is empowering for us to know that when we are a light as a Christian in all of those ways that you were just talking about, then we can overpower darkness. And it's not our ability and power, it's God's power, because God is light and in him is no darkness at all. So I thought about that. And then the only other thing was that when I did briefly read up on this, the one thing that I read talked about light, how we can shine light on ideas. And maybe this is more along the practical lines, but when someone we know has a talent or someone has an ability or an idea, we can shine a light on that and draw others' attention to it and help to, lift them up and maybe help them find a job, maybe help get them started, like you were talking about Janelle and Emily doing those things. You
Mm-hmm.
shown a light. You shined a light. Past tense of shine. You did that for them. And I think that, it makes others go, I could do something like that. I can be a light like that. And so um, that I think being a light means a lot of different things. So
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, and some of what you just said is going to kind of play into the latter one too.
Okay.
And what, you were talking about how easy it is with that one small light, the big impact that it makes. And I really found that in this whole study, in all three of these areas, the way that God can use us in these areas, none of them were, difficult or that you have to have some kind of magnificent talent to be used. They were just, if you live in a God honoring, loving way, God can use you to make an impact, especially the whole lighting up the world thing makes it sound like it's got to be this, you know,
Mhm.
lighthouse light because the world is big and it is so dark. And what can one person possibly do? But just by our good deeds and our desire to tell the truth and thankfulness, and it's like you can envision someone like that and their demeanor, and I'm picturing Kim Moyers, and she's a light, and so I just found it greatly encouraging that we're just trying to, we're not drawing attention to ourselves.
Mhm.
We're just trying to honor God by the way we live and use our talents to glorify him, and then God turns around and uses it to light the world. Like you said, the power is in him. He's the one that does it. The
Mhm.
next one I ran across, this one, okay, I said they weren't hard, but maybe this one. The next way we light the way for others is by not complaining. And I had to share it because Philippians 2, 14 and 15, we have talked about that so many times on this podcast. Do everything without grumbling or complaining. Some versions read grumbling or arguing. And verse 15 says, so that you may become blameless and pure, children of God without fault in a warped and crooked generation. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky. So simple, but not simple. But just this cultivating an attitude of thanksgiving instead of grumbling and complaining and arguing like we tend to do, God uses to light the world. Then you will shine in this world of darkness. That there will be such a huge contrast between a person that approaches life that way and the rest of the world that
And
it's going to
sorry.
stand out. Go ahead.
Well, and when you do try, because you've given us challenges before
Mhm.
to not complain, to not be negative, all that. When you really focus on it and try and you feel like you've improved, you really notice it in others. And it really is like, ooh, did I sound like that when I was doing that? I don't want to be that way. So it's
True.
helpful to try it and see how I mean, to use a bad word, it's really ugly. It's ugly in others. And when you realize I looked like that too, and
Mhm.
continue if I don't keep trying to get rid of that grumbling and complaining attitude.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I told myself driving to my sister's house today, I wasn't going to say anything negative whatsoever. I wasn't going to complain about anything. I wasn't going to talk about how busy I am, blah, blah, blah. Just going to be a cheerful sister and we're going to have a good time. And I feel like within 5 minutes, I was going, oh, I feel like I'm letting everybody down in my family. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, but in your defense, it's your sister. And I
Yeah,
think that
true.
there are some people, and I want to say this too, because my mom brought this up to me a couple of weeks ago, and she had listened. I don't know which podcast she had listened to, but and she probably if she listened to this one, she might get mad at me for saying this, but it's something that probably needs to say. She said, y'all don't think that we can do anything wrong. And she was giving me examples of like, you don't you think that you need to be able to bounce things off of people sometimes? And I agree. I think your sister is one of them that when you take it before someone, and I know I'm digressing from your topic, sorry,
Oh, that's fine.
but someone that you trust that will steer you back in the right direction, that's one thing. So, I think mom is mostly right in that, but I guess I just want to say, you and I think we say this all the time, but these are things we struggle with.
Hmm.
And she was saying, you don't think we can do anything wrong. Well, obviously, we are all human, and you and I are as human as anyone else. And so here we get on this podcast and we say, be a light, don't complain, don't grumble. It's because we have problems with that, and we don't want to be that way. And so we're just trying to encourage ourselves and everybody else to be a
Exactly.
lamp, a lamp and a lifeboat and a ladder. So,
Yeah, pretty much every time somebody reaches out and says, whew, you stepped on my toes, or oh, I really needed that topic. And like, yeah, why do you think we talked about it? 'Cause
yeah.
We want to talk about what we feel like we need to talk about, and we're not here thinking, let's talk about this because everybody else needs it.
Right. It's you and me.
Yes. And I
Okay.
love it when we digress because I think those are probably the most interesting parts of the conversation.
When I tell things that my mom says.
We love you,
Thanks.
Mom.
Yes.
Okay. And then the last one was by our compassion. One of my favorite verses, Isaiah 58, verses 10 and 11. That was the one that if you satisfy the afflicted soul, you're looking for others, you have compassion and you're taking care of them. And it goes on to say, then your light shall dawn in darkness, and your darkness shall be as the noonday. And some versions read, then your light will rise in the darkness. And I love that image just by taking the time to have and express compassion. So, again, simple ways, and we may not think about it. Did you take the time to call someone who lost their spouse and it's been 3 months and you're thinking, probably the cards have run dry? I'll just chat with him for 5 minutes. You didn't think anything of it, probably never thought anything of it the rest of the day, but God used that as a lamp and that grieving woman's moment of darkness. Um, did you share muffins with a neighbor? Did you go talk to a child and make them feel seen and special? Did you, I mean, all the things that we might do without thinking about, God is using. And I think it's good to remember that, don't discount what God can do with just trying to live in a way that glorifies Him. The adversary wants us to feel like there's no such thing as making a difference. There's no such thing as shining a light anymore. The world is too dark.
Mm.
But God is always greater, and He's the one that promises in His word that that's what He does with these small things, these small efforts to live like His Son.
This makes me want to go look up all of the uses of the word light.
Mm-hmm.
And the passages that you've brought up are not ones that immediately come to mind when like your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light to my path. But these are things that light is just kind of it's central in the passage, but you don't think about it as being central in the passage. So I want to go look them all
Yeah,
up.
there are a ton. I did look them up, and there are a ton. I was trying to focus more on the ones that talk about how our light influences others.
Mhm.
All right, any more on the lamp part before we move on to the next one?
Yep.
Next image is the lifeboat. I always love a good nautical illustration. The lifeboat, and the Bible does too. First Timothy 1:19 says concerning the faith, some have suffered shipwreck,
Mhm.
which I think is such a tragic verse. And we probably all know people who have. I'm sure we do. So in this one, it's a little bit different. It's not just trying to live in a way that glorifies God and, embracing righteousness and truth. This is keeping our eyes open for people who are sinking.
Mm.
And, whether it is they're in the midst of a storm, a really difficult one, and you can see it taking effect on them. Maybe it's been going on for a long time, or it's just severe. Or maybe it's somebody who's just drifting away, and you can see they're falling away, they're drifting away from God, they're about to spiritually suffer shipwreck. So maybe it's somebody having fears, and in the midst of a difficult time. Life storms can bring out the best in us, but it can also bring out the worst in us. And I think one of the most natural reactions for us as humans in the middle of a storm is fear, whatever it might be, fear for our own self, fear for loved ones. And fear can cause us, we've talked about this on here before, fear can cause us to act in ways that are different than our normal behavior. So be looking for those fears, that can manifest themselves in different ways in the lives of fellow Christians. And so because people around us, I mean, you don't have to look far. You're going to find somebody in the middle of that. So how can we be a lifeboat? How can we help them in that situation? And the simple answer is point them to the anchor. Um, Hebrews 6:19, this hope we have as an anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast. And I love those two descriptive words of that anchor, and I've shared it, and I've done a Ladies' Day theme on this verse before, but sure and steadfast both have to do with weights and pressures. One of them has to do with what presses down upon you, that it bears up under whatever that is, whatever heavy weight is pressing down, it bears up under it. And the other one has to do with what's pulling you, in either direction, what's pulling you. That anchor holds you secure. So no matter how you're pulled in all these different directions, you have an anchor. And I think we can remind people of that when they're in that storm and they can't see their way clear. They don't know when, sunny skies are coming back into their lives. We can point them to the anchor and remind them and let God use us in whatever way to make them feel safe, to remind them they're not in it alone, to, you know, bolster them up. If you know and love the people around you, you know what will do that for them. Is it a prayer with them in the moment? Is it a thoughtful card or letter? Is it, can I just come sit with you? We don't have to talk, but I'm here. You know, there are ways that God can use us to help people in their storms.
I'm thinking back on times that who has been a lifeboat for me in different situations. And um, I'm thinking about myself. I tend to think about looking for people who are slipping through the cracks. You're talking about people whose life is about to be made shipwreck. But then I'm also thinking about people who have done that for me. Maybe not me slipping through the cracks, but I'm thinking this is going to probably blow your mind a little bit. But Wes Autry, when John was in the hospital, of all people, he would just text me once a day, maybe twice a day, and he'd say, "How's our boy?" And the way he would talk, there was just something about, I don't know why, but I felt like I could tell him whatever was going on with John because I knew he knew John
Mm-hmm.
and he I don't know, but it was just very simple for him to just say, "How's our boy? What's going on?" And he would send me funny things about, I mean, I remember one of the things he talked about. He said, I'm probably up next to teach Bible geography, and he was making a crack about you and me sitting in the back, you with your maps and stuff. But he was a lifeboat to me just because he was somebody, it was unexpected, and yet he provided that for me. And just people that in different situations that saw you, and how we say, "I see you. I know what's going on."
Mm-hmm.
I just think we can very simply be a lifeboat to somebody by noticing them, by seeing them, by talking to them, by someone that is maybe an outcast, someone who's unlovable. We can be a lifeboat for them because I feel like so many of them they just need a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not very friendly and they're not very lovable, but yet that's what they want most. And they might not even be able to put it into words. But anyway, I'm just thinking about loving the unlovable and looking for people who slip through the cracks and being a lifeboat for them.
Yeah. I actually can see Wes Autry doing that because it sounds like what you were describing sounds like he was just offering you, a breath of normalcy.
Yeah.
Right now you're all caught up in hospital rooms and nurses and John and, scary things. And he's just reminding you, we're thinking about you and here's something funny. And, and he has that really tender side to him that knows how to be there for somebody.
He doesn't want you to tell anybody that though.
Oh, sorry. Scratch all that. He's such a sarcastic,
Yeah. Yeah.
thoughtless person.
No. He's a big old teddy bear.
That's he really is. All right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. Anything else on the lifeboat before we move on to the, okay,
That's
the
all I
third,
got.
that's all you got. You did good. You're doing good. I'm impressed. The
Digging.
third one, the third image is a ladder. So, how can God use us as a ladder? And now ladders help us climb. And I loved this one. I had so much fun with it. And this is the one I said kind of reminds me of what you said about the light, shining the light on what somebody's trying to do to help them succeed. to help support them in it and prop them up in it and help them get a head start in it, if you will. We see so many people out there trying to get things off the ground and do good things. And a ladder is where there's something you're trying to get to and you can't reach it. So you have to climb. You have to climb there. So this is looking for ways to help others climb. And I think this one is so beautiful because we live in such a dog eat dog world, and tearing other, I'm not saying Christians do this, but people try and make other people look bad to make themselves look better. People are jealous of other people's success. People do things to sabotage other people or, make snarky remarks about it to cast, some kind of negative light on it. That's the world for you. But God wants us to help each other and rejoice with each other and lift each other up and help each other succeed and get to where we're trying to get to. And that's part of why we're here to lift, excuse me, lift, oh, wow, excuse me, to lift, lift others up. Um, so this looks like in supporting them, praising them, noticing again, seeing and being aware of the efforts of others. Because Christians typically aren't going to go around tooting their own horn. And they're not doing what they're doing for praise. But to pay attention, I see what you're doing and this is amazing, and how can I help? Or I'm going to be praying about this, or, whatever it might be. Praise them, help them build whatever it is they're trying to build. If there's something that you can do to help them with that, be happy for their success and be a part of the reason they're successful.
Mhm.
How seems like as Christians, we can always say, well, if it weren't for so and so, I wouldn't be where I am today. And if it weren't for, I'd never be able to do this without this person or this person. And, it's really easy to do all that taken, but we need to make sure that we're also giving in those ways and helping others succeed and build them up. So many verses. Philippians 2, 4, and 5 look not only toward your own interests, but also to the interests of others. First Thessalonians 5:11, encourage one another and build one another up. So it's, obviously our speech, but wouldn't that go beyond, I can encourage you, I can compliment you, I can offer a word of support, but building you up kind of makes me think like taking a step further. I'm sure it does have to do with speech, but it sounds like looking for ways to help you go higher, lift higher, and soar. Proverbs 3:27, do not withhold good from those to whom it is due when it is in your power to act. And then Ecclesiastes 4, 9, and 10, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. And it kind of just, there's nothing wrong with praising fellow Christians. There is something wrong with us trying to do things for praise,
Mhm.
but there's nothing wrong with praising and encouraging and acknowledging fellow Christians for their efforts. And I think sometimes we can be kind of stingy with that. I don't want them to get the big head. I don't want them to think that now they have to have all these compliments to keep serving. I can you really encourage somebody too much? Really? So this is ways that we can be a ladder and help others, see others and help them climb in whatever way we can. God uses us to do that.
It made me think of the word boost and how we can boost other people and give them a boost, whether it's with our words or with our promotion of them or whatever it is that they're trying to do. But I also think, it brings the mental image of someone maybe bending over and you give them your hand for them to be able to climb. I think of
Yeah.
the the races or whatever they call those things, when they're trying to get over something. I can't think of what that's called. But not being upset when someone uses your boost, not being jealous of that, allowing them to, I don't want to use the word take advantage of, but be willing to be the one who launches someone, even if it's to our own detriment.
Mm-hmm.
Not caring who gets the what is it? Jordan's basketball coach used to always say, it's amazing what we can get done when no one cares
And we don't
who
care who
gets the
gets the
credit.
credit.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So be willing to boost others, and not be worried about getting the boost yourself. God has a way of returning that. When we pour out, He pours back into us. So let's pour out that boosting, that laddering, if you will.
Yeah, it's
Not
like
because of
most
God
things.
doing that, but it'll happen. What'd you say?
It's like most things. Sometimes it's all easy to say, well, nobody lifted me up. Nobody, and we worry so much about that instead of, you don't have time to be worrying about that because you're too busy
Yeah.
trying to lift others up, trying to be a light, trying to be a lifeboat, trying to be a ladder. Focus on that and let God take care of you. He's the one that exalts us. He's the one that lifts us up when
Mhm.
we serve humbly. Um, that's all I have on those three things. Do you have anything else?
I like it.
I did too.
Sweet.
I liked it too. All right, what's for dinner?
I have a Mississippi pot roast in the crock pot right now.
Yum.
Oh,
Love those
I do
things.
too. And let's just not talk about it being bad for us though, because there's butter
Okay.
in there.
Okay, we won't talk about
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this
I
smells really good.
I have nothing. We've had a whole weekend. Friday I made homemade pizza for everybody. Saturday we had a Mars party. Sunday we had a potluck. Yesterday I was minding children and I made pot stickers and egg rolls because they were in my freezer.
Mhm. Did you make that cake for potluck
I
Sunday?
did. Oh, it was so good. It
That
was so good.
recipe, it looks like the cake part of the recipe looks like a Texas sheet cake, or what I know as sheet cake.
And it kind of looks like that too. It's kind of thin. It puffs up when it comes out, but you stick it with a fork while it's still warm and you pour the icing over it while it's still warm. It's not quite like a poke cake with the big holes. It's just a fork. So good. So
Oh,
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
have to try that one for sure.
yes, for sure. Um, and then tonight I knew I was going to be on the go all day. So Neil's bringing Chick-fil-A home for dinner. So I've got nothing for you.
Well, I mean, that's what's for dinner.
That is what's for dinner for sure. All
I
right.
like it.
So, do you have something good for us?
Yes. So I mentioned that we worked outside. And I
Hmm.
think that I've told everybody I got one of these for Christmas, but this little thing here,
Oh yeah, the little mini chainsaw is
mini
so cute.
chainsaw, this is amazing. I had more fun with this. I probably cut down more than I should have, but it was a lot of fun. So I mean, it was probably John said it was $25 maybe,
Mm.
but it's so much faster than a hatchet because a hatchet's what I was using to cut down, the little side branches and stuff. But man, it was a lot of fun. I don't know the brand. Oh, Cece? SEESII Power Tools.
And
It's
it
got
has a
its
little
own little
mini
case.
case. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
So
color. Also, kind of a teal
yeah, it is.
something.
So that's my something good. I highly recommend every woman has her own mini chainsaw.
Yes, I got one for Gary for Christmas before last, and he loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Right.
every woman and every
But
man
I didn't
then.
think about me having one.
Mm,
Huh, like it. All right, my
mhm.
something good for you is actually an article.
Okay.
Neil wrote an article and shared it in the Daily Bread a couple weeks ago, maybe, but it was Lord Sharpen My Perspective. And I wanted to share it because I felt like it kind of fit in with what we talked about today. And when I first read it, I had saved it. Now, his text is Mary and Martha,
Mhm.
which is done a lot. But I just loved the approach that he took to this because he was talking about the fact that Martha, she was industrious and conscientious and hardworking. She was the one making sure things were done right.
Mhm.
But just lost sight of the big picture, the why. And I just wanted to read, he said, basically in all the things that we're doing, the opportunities and the good things, my particular task can loom so important that I forget the bigger why behind it. My task orientation can blind me to why I'm doing what I'm doing. It can cause me to be so riveted on the checklist that I forget who that list is for. I don't want to lose sight of its connection to Jesus, to miss what Jesus has to say or teach. The lesson here is not to neglect duty or to glorify sitting around. It's a reminder that in each moment of every day, I need to make sure I'm focused on choosing the necessary, good, and lasting part. I don't want to miss the bigger picture as I am going. So I'll share the rest of the article in the Facebook group, looking at Facebook group.
Neil just has a gift for boiling it down to what's really important and practical.
He
That's
sure
really good.
does. I like that guy.
I do too. Not as much as you do, but I like him a lot.
I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do. All right. Well, I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you for you did good. I don't think I could have pulled that off, but I am super impressed with you.
Oh, I covered it
You didn't
well
even have
then.
to tell on yourself because no one would have known. Pretty sure.
I was madly scribbling notes.
You pulled that off also.
Good. I was
All
hoping you
right.
didn't see me not looking at you.
A couple of times, but not too bad.
All right.
For those of you who listen to us, thank you so much for joining us and being here. We invite you to check out the Facebook page, Looking Up. If you're listening, we also have a YouTube version. If you ever want to just watch, we show things on here. I mean, I showed my big Papa Charms green popcorn with Lucky Charms in it. You don't want to miss out on that. We also invite you to like, subscribe, follow, all those things to help us get more visibility so more women can join us around the table, if you will. So, Carla, until next time,
Keep looking up.
love you, friend.